weight loss surgery 3 times. 3 times. And I'm still fighting for my life. I'm still fighting to be skinny. Hey Sunrays, thanks for tuning in to Snap Back and Beyond with Alexis Sunshine. And today we are going to talk about weight loss surgery. Specifically, my experiences, my complications with the situation, and thinking that it was going to be the dream of all dreams, that I finally was going to be snatched and skinny. But as you can see, I'm still fighting to get to where I want to be. Let's get into this. So, it was the year 2010. And at this point, I had been the biggest I had ever been in my whole entire life. I always been living in a bigger body, but this was the biggest. I was at 320 pounds. And when I actually first stepped on that scale and I saw 300 something, I was in disbelief. I knew I was getting bigger. I could feel different things in my body. Now, mind you, I was only 21 years old. 21, okay? I was young. I'm still young. But, like, I was fresh. You know, this is the year, this is the time that I'm supposed to be just, like, living it up, enjoying everything. And I'm kind of doing it, but not to the best of my ability or capacity, because I got a little bit of insecurity because I know I'm the biggest one in the group. I know that I got to be mindful of what I'm wearing, of how I'm moving, like, it was quite an uncomfortable place. And I got to a point where I just was like, something's got to give. And I love to eat. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie at heart. I'm still a foodie. But I just want to stay focused. So anyways, it's 2010. And at this point, I'm the biggest I've ever been. And I started doing a little bit of research. It's not a lot of research, it's not a lot of information out here about what I'm about to get into. I know 2 people who have had weight loss surgery at this time, and they've lost a significant amount of weight, but I can't necessarily say they were feeling their best or most healthy. And so that discouraged me from getting ultimately the gastric bypass. And that's what I had known 2 other people to have. And so I went ahead and decided I'm gonna do the lap band, because the lap band is this new situation, it's new technology, it's a new surgical procedure that's going to help restrict your food intake without being that invasive. And I won't have all the complications and nutritional deficiencies that people who have RNY, also known as gastric bypass, has. And so I went to the doctor. I did my little research, so I thought, and asked the doctor a few questions, and he was like, well, if that's the route you want to go, then let's do it. And so I was like, all right. So in my mind, and what also convinced me of doing the lap band, for one, again, as far as the cons were to go, there was no significant nutritional deficiencies that I would have to keep in mind. I didn't have to take any vitamins on a committed basis, as if I was to do bariatric surgery as far as the gastric bypass. Now, here's the thing. The sleeve was not out at that time. And if it was, they were doing it it wasn't something they were like really exploring at that time. Now, this is 2010. And so I was like, I really didn't know about the other ones. I just was so like, I will not do the gastric bypass, because I know somebody who had complications and that they're just not doing their best, and they told me not to do it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna do the lap band. I do the lap band, I get it done, and I'm excited, and I start to lose weight. I'm eating, it is restricting my intake of food. And so before I get into that, here's how the lap band works. So they get this device, they put it around the upper part of your stomach. And so it's the upper part of your stomach, and then there's this port. And what they do is, in order to restrict the amount of food, it varies. So you have to get saline injected into this port. So you go to the doctor every few months or so to get more saline put in, or to get some removed, depending on your restriction. And I mean, if you don't like shots, you don't want to do this because you're getting a shot in your stomach all the time. And it doesn't last long as far as like the pain or whatever. The initial shock is something else, but it passes. So that wasn't a big deal to me. But finding that good little happy space was kind of difficult, because after you get the shot, you take a sip of water and then you kind of wait. You see if the water is sitting or if it goes down smoothly. And so it would kind of take a little bit of adjustment going back and forth and stuff like that. But it seemed like it was doing the job, because the scale was moving down. I was looking slimmer and everything. But as the year was progressing and the pounds was coming off, I realized when I was eating or drinking stuff, it would just kind of sit up here. So I'm like, oh, I really need to adjust. But I would have like a minimal amount of restriction. But I realized I just kept getting food stuck here. And it was the healthy foods. When I would eat chicken, like baked chicken, grilled chicken, I would eat broccoli, apples, and rice. Those things would just get stuck, and it would hurt my chest so bad to the point where I would have to throw up. I have to make myself throw up so it would come out and I would feel some relief. And this started happening a little bit too frequently. So when I went to the doctor, I said, hey, like, I'm getting food stuck in my chest and this is what I'm feeling. And so they're like, okay, let's mess with your restriction and take some saline out. Maybe you need to do that. And then I had kind of got slimmer, and then I'm like, hey, it's really working. It's working. And I had lost, at that point, I believe I had lost about 90 pounds. I was looking good. I was feeling good. But the complications were growing. Just very uncomfortable. I'm barely able to eat. The things that I can't eat, I shouldn't be eating. I was eating chips, ice cream, the junk, okay? But the junk just felt good going down compared to when I tried to make healthier choices. Even salad, it was wow, the amount of healthy foods that would just get trapped and all the junk would just slide down. I call them slider foods. But all of it was just sliding down. I had no complications whatsoever when it came to junk food. And so I go back to the doctor. Hey, I'm still feeling this way. So they said, okay, we're going to do some x-rays. We're going to see what's going on. Well, long and behold, I actually was having a complication beyond just my mind and what was going on. My band had actually slipped. But I had lost 90 pounds at this point. So I actually was looking good as far as my weight goes. You know, like I wanted to lose the weight. That was the main goal. And so I had been given an option to do a revision. And when I did the revision, it was just to fix and replace. They were going to replace the lap band. So that's what they did. I went ahead and did it. They replaced it. And I still had more pounds to lose. I had only lost 9. Remember, I had started at 320. So I still had a significant amount that I wanted to still lose. So I was like, okay, well, it's been kind of working, so I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Now, they did give me an option. Do you want to do something else, or do you want to do the lap band? Well, I'm like, well, I'm going to just do the lap band because I still feel a type of way about the gastric bypass. Because I honestly didn't do a lot of research on it, but I just knew. I was told don't do it, you know. And so I have this lap band redone. And after I had it done, I got scared. I got nervous. I guess you could say I had a little bit of PDS. What's it called? Post-traumatic stress disorder. I had a little bit of that going on because I got scared. I didn't want to have those same feelings that I was having because I was throwing up all the time. And I got scared to go back and get it filled. So I had this new band around me, but it wasn't being utilized. And then all of a sudden, my weight started to creep up. And next thing you know, I have gained a significant weight back. And I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. I got this tool. Let me use it. So I start to utilize my tool again. I'm going back to the doctor. I'm getting my little saline shots and it's tightening my restriction. And long and behold, I start to have complications again. I'm starting to make unhealthy choices because food is getting stuck in my chest, right here in my esophagus. It's just sitting. And now I'm starting to develop a little bit of a bulimic situation because I know I can't eat whatever it is that I'm about to eat, healthy or unhealthy at this point. It's going to get stuck. So I'm making myself throw up. But I'm hungry. So I want to eat, and some of it is going to go down, but a lot of it's not. So it became like this very uncomfortable situation. So literally, I go back to the doctor. I'm telling them like, hey, something ain't right. So they're like, okay, let's do some x-rays. Well, x-rays say everything looks good. How can it look good when I'm telling you it hurts? I'm trying to eat right and it's not working. So I couldn't get it approved. I went to the doctor so many times, and we're just playing with the saline and the adjustments and the restrictions. And I could not get my insurance to approve it because they couldn't find anything technically wrong with me, regardless of my complaints of the complications that I was feeling. This went on for years. This went on for over 5 years of me just being uncomfortable, to the point where I was just like, you know what? I don't even want to feel it, take it all out. So I ended up having them take all the saline out, and I just was living like a regular person, if you will. Although I had no saline, there were still times where I would feel a restriction, because at the end of the day, you do have like this band around your stomach. So if you're trying to overeat, even if it's not filled, you still can feel some uncomfortableness. Literally, you got this foreign object in your body floating around, in a sense. And so anyways, it's been years. It's been like over 5 years, whatever. And I am at the point, I've been trying, in between the time, I'm trying different diets. HCG was really, really popular during this time. I started doing HCG, which is kind of like these liquid shots, and eating a very restricted type of diet. And then I ended up going to a clinic, and I lost like 70 pounds in 4 months. And baby, I was so geeked. Oh, I was geeked. I was like, I'm finally skinny. Hey. But soon as I stopped doing that, I gained all the weight back. I gained all of it back. And when I tell you, I was devastated, I was crushed, I was hurt, because I'm not understanding how come I can't get to where I ultimately want to be. And I just keep gaining this weight. And it's not that I'm just eating crazy or anything. It's just literally that things only work for the moment. So I'm like, okay, I've tried this diet. I've been as strict as I possibly could be. And actually, it was more than 4 months. I think I did it I lost the 70 pounds for 4 months. Then I continued to do it for a little while to like maintain. So I did this for like 6 months. Okay, the HCG diet. And then I started to gain all the weight or whatever. And I went back to the doctor, and I was like, all right, let me utilize this thing. Let me utilize this lap band. It's supposed to help. I started having complications again. Forget it. Take it out. Take the saline out, because they won't approve me to get a revision. And at this point, I don't even know if I want a revision. I kind of just want it out, because it's not helping the situation. I'm trying to get skinny. I'm trying to lose weight, and it's just not doing it for me. So then I wanted to be on The Biggest Loser. I applied to be on The Biggest Loser, and I went out for a casting audition, and they picked me. And I got a call back, right? So I go through this series of things, and I am doing all these like little videos and interviewing, and everything is going good. And then they tell me, well, we're not doing individuals this season. We've decided we're not doing individuals. We are going to do families. So do you have a family? Like, we already like you. So do you have a family of bigums? Of bigums that would like to be on the show. And I'm like, not that want to like work out, like how, like nobody, you have to really be in a certain mindset to want to lose weight. You may want to lose weight, but you got to be here mentally to do the thing, And so I was like, okay, sure. So actually I didn't have family, but I had some friends. So I was like, well, can we, say that we're family or whatever? And so they was like, hey, whatever. So I got a few people together, and I was like, hey, y'all want to do this Biggest Loser? I already got the deals. So they was like, yeah. So we started doing these videos, and then we made it get to the next round. And then they like change it again and say like they want to do like former athletes. And then they just kept giving me the run around and BS. And it was like, I thought I was 1 foot in, and I love The Biggest Loser. That was like a really good show to me. They just worked out all the time and ate right, and then they would just lose a significant amount of weight. I thought it was going to be the answer to my dreams. But that kind of got snatched away because they kept changing the direction of what that season was going to be. And I think that season, I can't even remember what season it was. It was a very long time ago. I think it was like 2000. This happened in 2012, something like that. 2014, somewhere in that time. It was a while ago. But it happened a really long time ago. In my mind, I'm just like, I need something. I was putting my all into this. I just knew that Biggest Loser was going to be the answer, because weight loss surgery has failed me. HCG has failed me. And now Biggest Losers has failed me. I need to do something because I'm trying and I want this. So I ended up going to a weight loss camp, a boot camp. And I went there for 2 weeks. And it was very similar to the same construct of Biggest Loser. It was in South Carolina. It was called Life in Fitness. And you were just immersed in the world of fitness and eating healthy. And you didn't have to worry about anything except for executing. Everything was kind of laid out for you. You picked what you want to do as far as like your activities, but the food was laid out for you. They found out what your macros were, and you had to eat what they provided. It was an experience, and I thought it was really going to catapult me to the journey that I've been trying to get to. Right? Well, I felt like I was brainwashed, because when I came back, I was thinking I'm going to be able to keep up this whole regimen. I literally was working out for like 8 hours a day. And I didn't have to worry about any foods being prepared for me. But when I came home, I had this time to work out, but I also had to figure out how to cook nutritiously. I also had to figure out like this real schedule, because I remember the workouts from there, but I don't really have a gym membership. I'm doing stuff kind of freestyle. And it just got so overwhelming to me, I wasn't able to keep it up. And then I was upset. I was upset because I was scared to eat certain foods, because like I wasn't allowed to eat them at that place. And it was so crazy because I was only there for 2 weeks. So I started gaining weight again. And I'm like, something's got to give, because I just want to get to where I want to be. I go back to the doctor like, hey, so this lap band, right? What can we do about this? Because I want to lose weight. This was supposed to be the answer. So we tried one more time. Let's fill the saline. And I'm having complications. It's been about 6 years. And I kind of go back and forth for a few months with the doctor. And I'm like, look, you can't tell me something ain't wrong with this. Because every time I try to use the tool that you put in me, it's not working. It's making me sick. Something's not right. Can you please do another x-ray and see if perhaps it slipped? Or is there something else, a complication that I'm not aware of, because I'm not the doctor, that is happening inside of me? Because there's no way in the world I should not be able to utilize this tool. I'm doing all the things in order to lose weight, but I can't do it. So help me. Please. I did this x-ray, and finally they see something, because the thing was, my insurance wasn't going to just approve me to do anything, another surgery. So finally they see something. They're like, oh, it slipped again. Well, gosh, I knew that. I felt it. I knew something wasn't right. And so I have to mention this. Before this, I had actually considered going to Mexico to have my band to have it taken out and probably have like a revision type of situation. And my husband was like, oh, you tripping. Like, I know you want to be thin and all that stuff, but like, you taking it a little bit too far, and there's no way in the world you about to go to Mexico. I was willing to take out a loan and everything. That's how extreme and how much this was kind of weighing on me. So anyways, finally they discover that the band ain't right. It slipped, and now I'm scheduled to have surgery to get it taken out. But this time, they say, do you want to redo it? Do you want to have a sleeve? Or do you want to do a gastric bypass? Now I'm like, all right, let me do my little research. Because I feel like if I hadn't had the lap band, and perhaps I did go with the gastric bypass, I would be where I've always wanted to be. But I let the lack of knowledge and fear of someone else's thoughts and experience impact my situation. So I did my little research, and I decided that after listening to all the pros and cons of the gastric bypass, that I could live with having to take vitamins for the rest of my life. I could live with the fact that I may experience dumping syndrome, which is when you eat sugary things or fatty things, and it will cause digestive discomfort. I decided that I could live with that. I decided that I could live with potential deficiencies as long as I was able to take a pill or get some type of medication that was going to help resolve that. Those seem to be the biggest cons to me. But the pro was that I was going to lose this weight. I was going to have some restriction in managing my portions because I was a overeater. I don't necessarily say I was not a binge eater. Like, I'm not like binging and eating everything, like overeating at that point. But like, I'm gonna fix me a plate or two, and I'm gonna eat the things that I want to eat. So that was like my issue. And so I was like, well, if I do that, then I'm going to have success. You know, I'm gonna do this. I decided I was not gonna do the vertical sleeve because I had already had issues with the lap band with throwing up a lot, and I did not want to have issues with the vertical sleeve because they tell you that GERD, which is basically like severe acid reflux, will develop or has the potential to develop when you have that sleeve. And they just cut, the sleeve is just cutting your stomach in I think it's like 80 to 90% of your stomach is cut. And so I was like, I don't want to deal with that because I already know with throwing up, whatever. I just need some resolve. So I decided to do the gastric bypass where they did cut my stomach and then they reconnected the intestines. So I had it. I had surgery. I had weight loss surgery 3 times. 3 times. And I'm still fighting for my life. I'm still fighting to be skinny. But I ain't done. And it's not over with. But do I regret having weight loss surgery? Absolutely. I regret having the lap band surgery. I absolutely would not recommend that to anyone. In fact, fewer surgeons are doing that particular surgery less and less because it has been known to cause a lot of complications. When I received that surgery, it was very fresh, it was very new, and I just wish that I had the courage to do a little bit more research and not have been so desperate to lose weight. And I did a little bit of research because if I would have just went with the gold standard of doing the gastric bypass. And I really feel like if I would have did it then, at this point, I will be talking to you about how I've been maintaining my loss since I've had gastric bypass. So I converted to lap band, revision to another lap band, and then finally to gastric bypass. I do not regret having gastric bypass. I do regret having lap band. Lap band sucks. I don't recommend it to anyone. It was just a terrible experience. Now, gastric bypass got its own complications, but it's nothing, absolutely nothing compared to that lap band that was complete poo-poo, okay? Don't recommend it whatsoever. It just was a very uncomfortable experience that was layered in frustration, and it was layered in complications. It was layered in creating other food aversions that I didn't know that I had or needed in my life. So absolutely not lap band. Gastric bypass, I would recommend people do their research. What is it that you're willing to handle and can handle? I think overall, the whole thing about all this weight loss surgery is that I thought it was going to be magic. This was going to be this is the bee's knees. I'm going to be skinny. And, the more times I had weight loss surgery, because I've had it 3 times, like, not that it's not proficient, but I just lost some of the efficiency it could have provided me if I had the gastric bypass initially. But now I feel like I'm just fighting for every pound to lose it. And another thing that I didn't realize is that having gastric bypass still was not 100% the answer, because not only am I fighting for it, but regain is a real thing. So you have to actively be eating right and be active and exercise. It's a very mind-blowing experience, because you think it's going to go one way, not realizing that you truly have to put the work in. And I think that's a big misconception that people have about weight loss surgery, thinking that, oh, this is the easy way out. And you know what? I was trying to take the easy way out, because I thought if I did this, I was going to be snatched, okay? That didn't happen. Not easily and not automatically. It takes eating correctly. It's learning your body and making sure that you are really filling it with the nutritious things that it needs to thrive. And now I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to understand that. I had the gastric bypass done in 2018. So it's been 6 years. And I initially had the lap band done in 2010. So we're talking about 14 years since I've had weight loss surgery. And in the 6 years of me having the gastric bypass, I had crept back up to the 300s. I had got to like 310 pounds. And anytime I see that 300 on the scale, it's just like, oh my God. But I feel it. I can feel it in my neck. I can feel it in my feet. I get plantar fasciitis. And I would wake up in the morning, and as soon as I like put my feet on the ground, it just would be hard to walk. And that's when I knew I was feeling too big. I could just feel it. So anyways, I've lost a significant amount of weight. So I went from 310, and now I'm down to 300. Oh, no, Lord, rebuke that. Rebuke it. I'm at 310, and now I've went down to 230. Okay, so I have definitely lost the weight. I've been able to keep it off and maintain. It was only when I started to have my kids that I started to put a little weight on, and now that's why I'm trying to snap back and beyond. So that's my experience. I just wanted to share a little bit about that with you guys. Please feel free to share your own journey, your experiences. Are you considering weight loss surgery? Did you have weight loss surgery? Did you have the lap band and have complications too? I feel like there should be some type of like little lawsuit against the lap band in like one of those like, have you or a loved one type of situation, because that was ridiculous. It was very much mentally taxing. But anyways, if you've had any of those experiences, please feel free to comment down in the comments. Let me know what's going on. But I thank you and appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you for tuning in to Snap Back and Beyond with Alexa Sunshine. See you next time.